I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for pushing this truth. This is Jaquab, son of Sears Jr., son of Sears Senior. And I want to say Barak to Yahweh, Barak to Yahweh Shai for your past start to an end of life in hell. As we know it, the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 62. The book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 61. And another also said, Lord, I will follow thee. Okay, so in the church, nobody really says, I'll follow the Lord. They just say, I believe in God, I love God, I don't even want to say the name. But to be a follower of Yahweh Shai, you have to be a follower of GMS by default. And I was thinking yesterday, I said, dang, we have to go from being a follower of Yahweh Shai to being basically to walking with Yahweh Shai, if that makes sense. Because I'm basically trying to explain it like, okay, you're a follower of Yahweh Shai in ancient times, like you hear about this guy, you follow his page. Okay, in ancient times, there was no pages online, but you hear about this guy, you follow his page. You want to hear about his posts, you want to hear about his updates, you want to see pics, you want to see videos. You're following Yahweh Shai, okay? But there were those that were following Yahweh Shai, and then there were those that were walked with Yahweh Shai, ate with Yahweh Shai, slept around Yahweh Shai. Can't say with, it's 2023. It's a shame, but you can't say with. Now, I want to go from being a follower to walking with. All right? Now, the book of Luke, chapter 9, verse 61. And another also said, Lord, I will follow thee, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at home at my house. And Yahweh Shai said unto him, no man having put his hand to the plow and looking back is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh. Okay, so the man didn't even put his hand to the plow yet. Okay, he didn't even put his hand to the plow, but he was told that no man putting his hand to the plow and looking back at your family, at the people at your house, is fit for the kingdom of Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Put my face down, act like I can't find it. All right. So in the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 1, Elihu also proceeded and said, suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. Okay, so if people in the streets would just suffer a little to listen to an Israelite. Let me read verse 2 again. The book of Job, chapter 36, verse 2. Suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. Okay? And that's the most important thing, because you can go through trouble, you can go in a time of disparity, in a time of despair and hopelessness. That's what Job was going through. He was saying, why am I being judged like this? You know, why am I going through this? If the Lord considered Job perfect, as it is written in the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 1, 2, and 3, it explains how Job was perfect man from the land of Uz. That was an Israelite. Salakia. If Job was perfect, the thought came back to me. If Job was perfect, then that means he would have understanding in the scriptures. So he would have the basic understanding of okay, is it this or is it that? Is the judgment for me? It made me think of the story when they said, Yahushua, who sinned, this man's mother or this man's parents or him? Why was he blind? And what did Yahushua say? He was born blind to show the power of Yahweh. The same way Job suffered what he suffered, as if his children were not the elect, and as if he was, to show the power of Yahweh in the name of Yahushua. Sirach chapter 2 comes to mind. The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 2 comes to mind. When thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul and constantly endure when thou be changed to a lower state. Roughly paraphrasing. Not if you'll be changed, when thou will be changed. So Job was a servant of the Lord. As Satan said, what about your servant Job? And he was brought to a lower state. I mean, how low can you go? You break out in rashes all over your body. A woman say, just curse God and die, basically, so she can go sleep with somebody else. So she was wicked, but she tried to keep the law. It sounds like she said, look, you need to die, man. I want to be with somebody else. This other guy around the block, he got a little better than you. No hives. He ain't breaking out. He ain't ugly like you. You know what I mean? I want to get with him. But Job was the package. Okay. Job was the prize. Okay. Probably in the bed and out the bed, because the Lord was with him. All right. But now he was suffering. The book of Job chapter 36. And this is how we have to remember why we are on this earth. Okay, if we have the knowledge, of course, it is to freely give as we have freely received. But nonetheless, we are here to be judged. Fortunately, extremely light sentences compared to the mass death penalties that have been issued out from the womb. Let me stop freestyling. The book of Job, chapter 36. Verse 2, suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. So when you click on a video, any video, TD hates Jakes, because he won't tell him the truth. Joel Osteen, the Captain America of Hope. So let me stop. Or the Apostle Elders of GMS. When you click on anybody, when you listen to anybody, do they show you that they have yet to speak on God's behalf? Okay, as it reads, if they speak not according to the law and to the testimony, law and testimony of what? The scriptures. It is because there is no light in them. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. The book of Job, chapter 36, verse 3. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. Wisdom cometh from above. And will ascribe righteousness to my maker. Okay, because righteousness, only Yahweh is righteous. Okay, all of our righteousness is as filthy rags. Okay. Verse 4, for truly my words shall not be false. That means he's going to speak according to the law and the testimony. He that is perfect in knowledge is with thee. So he's saying, Job, Yahweh is perfect in knowledge. Yahushua said, lo, I am with you all unto the end. Okay, Yahushua is perfect in knowledge. Okay, and Elihu tells, oh, suffering servant Job, oh, woe is me, Job. I feel like, oh, woe is me, but not on the level of Job. The, oh, woe is me, Job. Verse 4. For truly my words shall not be false. He, who? Yahweh. He that is perfect in knowledge is with thee. Verse 5. Behold, Yahweh is mighty and despiseth not any. He is mighty in strength and wisdom. He preserveth not the life of the wicked, but giveth right to the poor. Okay, so the candle of the wicked will be put out. That goes for the wicked of my people. So if you want to go ahead and live like an American, die like an American. Matter of fact, die the death of a future American. How about that? Wow, it's beautiful. A lot of birds flying past. Come get us. There's birds flying. Wow. And it's beautiful. It made me want to zoom in. See if I can zoom in. Nope. Wow, you can't see him. Wow. Yeah, that was about 200 birds. It was easy. Looked like a bunch of bees flying through the sky. Wow. Okay, the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 6. He preserveth not the life of the wicked. Okay, so when the angels come through the it's more. It's like it. You know how that guy was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? When he was looking at the International Space Station. So when the angels come through swarming, come on now, messing up the point. Yeah, I'm about to send me outside. Come on. Your pie. Okay, so when the angels come through flying, I ain't got time. It looks blurry. Like I said, it looked like a bunch of bees from my view. A bunch of bees. But when the angels come through flying, they're not going to save the wicked in spirit. And to be wicked in spirit means that you do not subscribe to the way and will of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, as explained through the elders and apostles of GMS. And I was about to say interpreters like me. It's like I joke when I'm in a good mood, which is very, 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 very rare. For the past 2 weeks, everything I've been going through, I don't smile that much anymore. It's been disturbing a lot of people. They look at me like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? Well, the fuck I'm be up in your face smiling for, man? Make that make sense. Anyway, the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 7. He withdraweth not his eyes from the righteous, but with kings are they on the throne. Yea, he doth establish them forever, and they are exalted. Okay, so our righteousness is as filthy rags compared to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. But as an Israelite, we're the only nation that qualifies to have a righteous spirit in us at all. Okay? A horribly righteous spirit, if that makes sense, compared to the ways and will of our forefathers, taught to them by the angels, which all was ordained by Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. The book of Job, chapter 36, verse 8. And if they be bound in fetters, what? Bondage. And be holden in cords of affliction, what? Bondage, affliction through unrighteous decrees, affliction through captivity, through the straw man. straw man. Google straw man. I wonder if them videos of that little cartoon from that I seen in 2015, 16 is still up. But yeah, the cartoons are very, very entertaining when it comes to the straw man. They did a great job. But and if they be found in fetters and be holden in cords of affliction, okay, the cords of affliction, okay, bound in fetters, okay, there's mental cords of affliction as far as laws and the way we were trained and taught. You know, you think that America is your country when really it's your corporation that you that you work for. It makes me think of Amazon, how you gotta scan your badge to get in and scan your badge to get out. And you basically, like, you know, you need permission to leave the building pretty much if you don't have your badge, or if they cut the gate off, if they close the border. So it's just like America is one big warehouse. It's basically like one big Amazon warehouse, to where you have to the borders to get in and out of that warehouse, which is America, can be closed. Okay, it can be closed and you can be trapped here, indefinitely. Now, a country, only a king and queen can run a country by law. That's by law. Okay, that's why you have the president of Coca-Cola, the president of Nike, the president of America. All right, but you don't have the king of Nike. You got the king of New York. You got the, you know what I mean? So it's like the fetters are unbelievable and unnumerable. Okay, you cannot number the amount of fetters you're bound in, because you grew up in it. It's so comfortable to you. Okay, it's like your clothes. Now, the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 9. Then he showeth them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. So while the Israelites are bound in fetters and holding in cords of affliction, God shows them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. Verse 10, he openeth also their ear to discipline, which is the scriptures. He opens their ear to the prophets if he loves them, or if he wants to jack you up even more. Okay, if you ever came across someone who's tried to teach you the true gospel of the scriptures, the Lord opened up your ears. But he didn't give you ears to hear and understand. Therefore, you are to be judged even worse, because as it is written in the scriptures, better is it to not know the gospel and be guilty than it is to know the gospel and be guilty. Okay. So, where was we at? Book of Job 36 and 9. Then he showeth them their work and their transgressions that they have exceeded. He openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasures. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge. Without knowledge of what in today's time? Without knowledge of being an Israelite, without knowledge of the blessing, without knowledge of what the kingdom of heaven was really about, without knowledge of why somebody died on the cross potentially for their sins. Okay? It's a lot of knowledge that thou can be without, just for neglecting the maker of spirit, flesh, and everything else that's materialized before our eyes and that's invisible, like air, like the wind. All right, we're not getting too deep. We're not talking about ghosts and goblins. The wind, you can't see it, okay? But the Lord made it. All right. Now, Salaki. The book of Job, chapter 36, verse 10. He openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. Okay, to hear the discipline is to learn the scriptures. Okay, we are disciplined according to the scriptures. Okay, so he openeth also their ear to discipline, and commandeth that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasure. Okay, wait a minute. If they shall serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. But it also reads in Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1, that will be, it starts in Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1. It reads, my son, Job was a son, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation, and constantly endure when thou art changed to a low estate. Okay? So Job was changed to a lower state, but as Elihu, hopefully I said that right, I don't know. Hopefully Elihu, I'm bad with names, even American names. Elihu, what does it say? Boom, boom, boom. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. But you must be proven first. You must be proven. You don't get the job without an interview. Okay, you don't get that paycheck without putting in work. So you have to go through the interview. First of all, you have to hear about an opening. Then you have to go on the apply. Then you have to go on the interview if accepted. Then you have to put in the work, and then you get your penny. All right. And throughout that process, there is a chance that until you get your penny, you might be changed to a lower state. But when you get your penny, what happens? You're paid. You're paid. You're breaking in the dough. Just don't let the world know. All right. So, if they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity. You get that penny. In their years in pleasures. Okay, you get mercy, blessings in the kingdom of heaven. Okay. And elect 144,000. Governing body. Okay. But, so let's pay attention to everything from here on out. But it means the topic's about to change. I mean, that means that something's about to change. But the hypocrites, who are the hypocrites? The Israelites that say they love God and don't want to hear not one part of this book, or do not one part of this book. Just want to say they love God, get out of my way. I love God, God love me. He set me free. All right, we'll see how free you are. When you're hungry, the book of Job chapter 36, verse 13, but the hypocrites in heart heap up wrath. They cry not when he bindeth them. Okay, bindeth them in what? Their afflictions. Okay. They die in youth, and their life is among the unclean. What is the unclean? The other nations. And the wicked of our own people. He delivereth the poor in his affliction, and openeth their ears in oppression. And that's what's going now. Okay, we're going through a deliverance process. And we're going through an opening of the ear process. Okay. Even verse 16, even so would he have removed thee out of the strait into a broad place where there is no straightness, and that which should be set on thy table should be full of fatness. Okay, so Job automatically had to go the straight way, the difficult way. Okay, Job was not on the broad path that led to destruction. He was on the straight, narrow path of difficulty of serving the Lord. Okay, and when I say difficulty, I mean when I say difficulty, I'm talking about how broad and wide is the gate that leadeth to destruction, but tight and narrow and difficult is the path that leads to life. Okay, I mean, Job was fighting his flesh right here. Okay, his flesh was telling him, Job, Job's flesh and spirit was being afflicted at the same time. All right. So verse 16, even so would he have removed thee out of the strait into a broad place where there is no straightness. And that which should be set on thy table should be full of fatness. And what happens when your table is full of fatness? Your heart forgets Yahweh. Okay. What is as it is written, give me not riches, lest my own heart forget thee. Roughly paraphrasing. Give me not poverty nor riches, roughly paraphrasing. Verse 17, but thou hast fulfilled the judgment of the wicked. Judgment and justice take hold on thee. Okay. Because there is wrath, beware, lest he take thee away with his stroke. Then a great ransom cannot deliver thee. Okay, so let me read that again. The book of Job, chapter 36, verse 16. Even so would he have removed thee out of the straight gate, into a broad place, the way of the broad path of destruction, where there is no straightness, there's no difficulty. You sin, you do what you want. Be two goddamn men outside in the middle of the night doing homosexual acts if you want, okay, and not even face no repercussion. Shit's ridiculous, man. But yeah, I haven't even been out since that night. Salaki, I've been wanting to too, been moving and just dealing with demons and new situations, new blocks, new faces. But no excuses. It's not an excuse. I've just been jobbing it, man. Jobbing it. So this Elihu is very important to me and to my brethren and my mothers and my sisters, because without Elihu to what is it saying, verse 2, suffer me a little, and I will show thee that I have yet to speak on God's behalf. Without Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, sending somebody to speak on his behalf, to speak on behalf of God, we are plagued by the heart. The servants of the Lord are plagued by the heart. I think that's what I might title this. Salaki, I need to start thinking a title before I open my mouth. The servant of the Lord is plagued by the heart. Okay. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 1. And he said unto me, in the beginning, when the earth was made, before the borders of the world stood, or ever the winds blew, before it thundered and lightened, or ever the foundations of paradise were laid, before the fair flowers were seen, or ever the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, before the measures of the firmament were named, or ever the chimneys in Sion were hot, and ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were turned, before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Okay, so I pain and our gain, our doubt and our loss was all ordained. Okay, it was all ordained before the innumerable multitude of angels were even gathered together. Okay, it was all ordained before they were sealed that have gathered faith for a treasure, as it is written in the second book of Ezra, chapter 6, verse 6. No, Salaki, 6, verse 5. Then did Yahweh and Yahweh Shai consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, so the world that it speaks of is the end of an age, not an end of earth. The world as we know it is about to be over. And the children of Jacob, which is going to be governed by the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai, is the beginning of the new world order that will follow the fall of the old world order of Esau, Babylon the Great, the Roman Empire revised, also known as America, European Union, NATO, and any other prize or whatever they trying to feed you out the Cracker Jack box. Shalom.